Hello everybody. We're not interested in white, able-bodied stories, really. An investigation by the Telegraph newspaper found that literary agencies are biased against mainstream, privileged writers. This article by Charlotte Gill is that literary agents are choosing people of colour, disabled or LGBTQ+, and ostracising others. Meanwhile, grade 10 student Reina Takata took this photo of the bookshelves in her high school's library in Toronto, Canada. CBC News reports her saying, quote, "This year, I came into my school library and there are rows and rows of empty shelves with absolutely no books." Unquote. She estimates that 50% of her school books in the library have gone. They include such staples as Harry Potter and the Hunger Games. We all know what's going on. The woke and the virtue signallers are in full flow. I don't want to make this a political channel, but these days, ignoring the blatant attacks on our culture is impossible. When the classics start getting removed and the publishing industry is biased towards or away from particular kinds of writers, we know we're in trouble. Look, I'm for publishing any kind of writing within the bounds of decency. For sure, that includes raunchy soft porn like 50 Shades of Grey and anything else that reflects society as it is. So it should include queer writing and writing about the physically challenged. My eldest son, James, suffered a traumatic brain injury, and his recovery story is inspiring and worthy of publication. A chapter in my book, Gateway to Gandamak, is entitled Greek Love. I hope it deals sympathetically with some of the more difficult aspects of Alan Turing's life and his relationship with young men and boys. Some of this writing is bound to offend. But surely literature is supposed to push the envelope of taste and foster discussion. It might even educate people. Think how many times Orwell's 1984 has been mentioned recently. In 1989, the leader of Iran issued a fatwa that called upon, quote, all brave Muslims of the world to kill Salman Rushdie. He's the author of The Satanic Verses. The Iranians said that the book insulted the sacred beliefs of Muslims. His Japanese translator was killed, and publishers in other countries were hurt. Up to now, the West's version of fundamentalists have not subscribed to such drastic measures yet. Are we going that way now? By the way, Mr. Rushdie was stabbed in August last year, losing the sight of one eye. The irony is that because of the fatwa, he became the standard bearer for freedom of expression, and Satanic Verses has sold millions of copies of a book that the author himself says, quote, requires a long period of intense reading. It's 250,000 words, unquote. When asked about the demands that his book be withdrawn from the shops, Rushdie said, quote, if you don't want to read a book, you don't have to read it. Well, exactly. Which brings me back to our woke literary agents. It looks like they've become the gatekeepers of what we get to read, along with the librarians who remove any book that's likely to trigger the sensitive souls who come to borrow them. Instead of embracing difficult ideas, we wish to protect people from them. Here's my take. I want everyone to have a chance to publish their ideas based on imagination, talent, and creativity, not because the author is preferred because they come from some underrepresented or marginal group. I don't care about the circumstances of the writer. I care about the ideas they express and the artistry with which they do so. There's an irony that Salman Rushdie's Satanic Verses is about Indian Muslim migrants to Britain, quintessentially a minority. Critics hailed it, quote, the most ambitious novel yet published to deal with the immigrant experience in Britain, fundamentally a study in alienation, unquote. Irony piles on irony. Rushdie attended the elite English school Rugby, think Tom Brown's School Days, and King's College, Cambridge. He worked in advertising for the leading advertising agency Ogilvy and Mather. He won the Booker Prize for his earlier book, Midnight's Children. Far from a marginalised author, Rushdie, an Indian educated in the UK, living in the USA, pursued by Iranian assassins, is the archetype of the privileged writer that the literature industry now wishes to exclude. I'll end with this. Ash Literary, one of the agent companies interviewed by The Telegraph for their article, says they're looking for, quote, extraordinary stories that reflect and celebrate the diversity of our world. We welcome a story from a disabled LGBTQ+ Black Indigenous perspective. But if your book is about an identity that's not yours, will not be a good fit, unquote. So my latest book presents a problem, doesn't it? Guardian of Kings is about a mixed-race Muslim boy born in Spain, growing to manhood in the turbulence of the clash of religions of the 11th century. Oh dear. As a privileged, white, elderly male living in Bangkok, I'm out of the frame, aren't I? And the answer is, the agents can go and diddle themselves. Woke bullshit will not exclude me. So we do it all ourselves. Write, edit, design, illustrate, print, publish, and market. Do you? If so, I'm happy to help with every aspect of your efforts. Let me know in the comments below. And let me know what you think about the present state of publishing. I'll be happy to do an episode about everybody else's experience, not just my own. Thanks for listening. See you next week. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Take care.